In the mid-19th century, the once mighty Qing Dynasty was decaying from within. Before dawn, within the claustrophobic walls of the Forbidden City, ambition moved in the shadows. Born in 1835 to a minor Manchu official, a young girl named Yehe Nara was brought to the court as a low-ranking concubine to Emperor Xianfeng. She was not destined for greatness, but she possessed a sharp intellect. In 1856, she secured her position by giving birth to the emperor's only surviving son. When the weak and ineffective Emperor Xianfeng died in 1861, the empire was on the verge of total disintegration. He left behind a dangerous vacuum of power. Working from the dim alcoves of the palace, she, alongside the Empress consort Zhen, orchestrated a ruthless takeover known as the Xinyou Coup. They violently intercepted the late emperor's funeral procession on the dusty roads, overthrowing the appointed regents and seizing total control of the empire. Now holding the title of Empress Dowager Cixi. She began a reign that would last for nearly half a century, ruling through blood and iron, enthroned behind a brilliant yellow silk screen. Her piercing eyes watched over the massive candlelit throne room, signaling the absolute consolidation of her power. She inherited an empire engulfed in flames. The Taiping Rebellion, a massive peasant uprising, had reduced vast swaths of southern China to ash and rubble. As internal unrest ravaged the countryside, foreign empires encroached upon the borders, with British gunboats anchoring menacingly along the hazy waterways. Cixi navigated these threats with cold defiance, yet her priorities often reflected immense imperial vanity, pouring desperately needed funds into the opulent reconstruction of the Summer Palace. The young Emperor Tongji grew deeply resentful in the shadowy corridors of power, constantly clashing with the unseen iron will that controlled his every move. But his reign was cut mysteriously short. When he died of illness in 1875, Cixi stood silently in the shadows, refusing to relinquish her grip. Manipulating the strict laws of royal succession, she placed her 3-year-old nephew, Guangxu, on the dragon throne, a terrified puppet dwarfed by his position. But as Guangxu grew into adulthood, so did his desperation. In the summer of 1898, he frantically studied Western texts to save the crumbling dynasty. Launching the 100 Days Reform, he issued radical edicts. Viewing this as a severe threat, Cixi emerged from the shadows, crushed the movement, and imprisoned him. By 1900, anti-foreign hatred exploded. A violent secret society known as the Boxers, performing fierce protective rituals at dusk, sought to eradicate all foreign influence. In a fateful, desperate gamble to maintain popular support, Cixi stood in the command hall and issued a stunning decree declaring war against the foreign nations. The subsequent siege of the legations turned the streets of Beijing into a terrifying war zone of smoke, gunfire, and debris. But the retaliation was swift and overwhelming. A multinational Allied fleet arrived on the coast, bringing the full technological fury of the industrialized world. As Beijing burned to the ground, the all-powerful Empress Dowager disguised herself as an elderly peasant, fleeing into the midnight darkness in a simple wooden cart. The resulting Boxer Protocol of 1901 was a treaty of absolute shame, forcing crippling indemnities onto the broken empire, sealing its ultimate fate. When Cixi finally returned, she was an aged and frail woman in a hollow, cavernous throne room, fighting relentlessly to preserve a dying Manchu dynasty. She died on November 15, 1908. As her legacy faded into the mist, the child Emperor Puyi was left entirely alone on the throne, waiting for the final collapse